You can
The
hear me.
stream is live.
We
Yeah, the
are
stream
live.
is, it says the
Okay.
stream is live and it's working.
Yeah. All
Are
right. We're
people
just.
like here still, or did we
Uh,
like?
Everybody's gone, but I mean, they might come back on. I put it back up, so they'll
Okay,
see if
okay,
we're here.
okay.
All right. So this is what I'll share out. Sorry, guys, about the technical difficulties from earlier, but at the same time, things happen. So we're just going to get right into the discussion. Rodleen, thank you first for being here.
Yeah.
It's been how many years we've known each other now? Kind of.
I mean, it just kind of seems like a infinite roll of years. Like, because I mean, didn't we know about each other before we knew each
Yeah,
other?
absolutely. Mutual friends. So
Yeah.
let's
Dave
start
Aaron. Dave Aaron.
with Aaron and
Mhm.
Mimi. Mimi told me about
Mhm.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
All my family right there. So
Aw.
let's just start from the beginning. Rodleen Getzik,
Yep.
tell me about yourself from day one.
Well, I will start out with the Tao Te Ching quote: push and it's too early, hold back and it's too late. At the right time, there will be no stopping. And
And
that's how it works.
we thought we had a stopping point tonight, but we kept going. So I appreciate
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. It
sending in.
happens for
And
us.
absolutely thank you everybody for coming in and supporting us. Definitely appreciate it. So
Yeah.
tell me where you started, Rodleen.
Where I started, do you mean like born?
Absolutely. Speak
Oh,
on.
okay. Let's see. Geez, what a story. Yeah, I was born in Wenatchee, Washington. um, my mom birthed me, and my father played a big role in that. I was their firstborn. Oh, and where I am right now, I'm at my Rod father's house, and he's my namesake, my uncle Rod. And when I was born, they thought I was going to be a boy. The whole time they thought I was going to come out a boy. And when I came out a girl, they were shocked about what the to name me, because they wanted to name me Rod and they didn't not want to name me Rod. So they had to figure out, and they did figure out to name me Rodleen. And then my papa called my uncle Rod and said, "Hey Rod, we it's a girl and we named her Rodleen." And Uncle Rod thought it was a joke. Yeah, but it's no joke.
That was the start of Rodleen right there.
Yeah, yeah.
At what point through childhood did you know entertainment was for you? Art in general.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting question, because in the beginning, I had an innate feeling that I was going to be an actress, like to be on movies. And I really felt that that was my calling. But by age 7, I felt that really strong. But my grandfather informed me that I was going to have to choose something more realistic and successful, like a lawyer or a doctor or a teacher or something like that. So I actually and I had never thought of myself as a singer or a musician for many, many years, because my mom and my pop too, they're really good musicians, and my mom is such a beautiful singer. I just never thought I could ever compare to her. But yeah, so for years, when I had to decide, I decided what I wanted to be when I grew up. After that, I decided I wanted to go into public service. Um, and yeah, and then that kind of blew up in my face, actually. Like literally, like in Washington, D.C. In 1992. I was 17, and Dick Cheney broke my heart, really, because at the time he was in charge of the Department of Defense. And I was there on this, like, for this summertime, like, special camp called Presidential Classroom for, like, future leaders of America. And there was a lot of questions asking, but when I got a chance to ask a question, I asked, why our country is so focused on other countries. Why are we, meddling in all these other countries' businesses and starting all these wars when we have our own country is crumbling? We have homelessness and gang violence and drugs and all this stuff, back in 1992. And still today, we have a lot of issues with our crumbling nation. And Dick Cheney said, Ms. Getzik, that's very sympathetic of you, but we are a world power and we need to maintain that status.
Damn.
And that literally broke me. Like I mean, I can't even explain like how, like it was like the needle that broke the back or whatever, like it was like all of a sudden I realized I could not go into politics because it was just like, the PTB, the powers that be, like it was like we have this world power that we have to maintain the status. And I just felt like I couldn't penetrate it, like spiritually, like driven I
Yeah.
am. And then after that, like I was literally like heartbroken, and I took the train home from Washington DC, like the Amtrak. And when I got back to Granite Falls, Washington, where I lived in the mountains, I went to the falls and I was just praying, like, what is my purpose? What am I to do now? Because all of my schooling, I'd been focused on going into public service and academics and everything. I had a full ride scholarship and I was working really hard. But it all seemed like it just like completely like crashed down. And all of a sudden I received a song. Like a song came from the spirit to me, and I knew right then it was a blessing from God, and that this music thing, like that I felt very guided to go into music. And from there I just kept writing music and performing right away. I started performing right away.
What was the song?
The song is called Entrust Yourself. And it's on archive.org,
Okay.
like acapella. It came acapella because at the time I didn't play guitar. um I think my pop had at that point, I think he taught me a couple chords on the guitar, like on the electric guitar or something, if I remember, like Frere Jacques or something, but I didn't really play yet. And I was receiving a lot of acapella songs. So
Well, with that, how did you find your voice? Your voice is absolutely distinct.
I mean, it came right then. Like I had no idea I was a singer
Yeah.
until that moment. Yeah, it came with that song. Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, that was it. And from there, thousands of songs. I mean, just like it just rushing through me at all times. Like the spirit of music. Like, yeah, like I got tapped into it, and that's how I found my voice. And it's developed over the years. I mean, well, I remember the random memory just popped up of when I was on tour with HR, with HR from Bad Brains, and I was part of his reggae band called Human Rights. This was like in 1997, 98, maybe, like going into 98. Now I can't remember. But yeah, and he was teaching me how to develop my voice. But I know one thing that was just surprising to me, because he was smoking tobacco, and I love smoking tobacco. I don't smoke regularly, but I do love it. And I asked him, I said, well, I see you smoking, and he's smoking menthols too. And you're smoking tobacco, like how is that for your voice? And he's like, it develops your voice. So yeah, so I think that tobacco has played a part in helping develop my voice too. But concentration, that's something also that HR really taught me, which I've been concentrating my entire life. And I told him that, but I learned to concentrate in a whole new way with this whole injury thing that I went through in the last almost 16 years now. like new levels of meditation and concentration. And now, like, I feel the spirit of music has like rushed back into me, and like it's like as if the whole time that I was almost pretty much dormant, because I was so disabled and in so much pain that I couldn't do very much at all physically. I could hardly move at some points of the life there. But I do feel that the whole time the voice was developing. I don't believe in writer's block. You know, I believe that we're constantly developing.
Understood. Let's pull back a few notches before we
Yeah.
get into the injury and then going forward. I want to hear about Rodleen Getsic's first performance. How did it feel like seeing the audience? I want to hear the adrenaline rush that you had, the nerves.
Mm. That's interesting. I mean, because I flash back on different times. Like, I mean, the first performance that I had was with Nature when I received that song, and that's what I think of is like the Granite Falls is this huge waterfall, like a huge rushing fish ladder, actually for salmon, and that was my first audience. And I think that going forward, that's always my audience is nature as a whole, the world as a whole. So, and then after that, like my first performance was actually on the radio station in like Everett, Washington. I don't even remember. It was just, and I performed that song though, because it was like a poetry thing. Like I had a lot of friends that were into poetry, and there was like this coffee shop called Tropic of Cancer. And I
Okay.
think I performed there a few times. But I've never had like nerves with performing. Like I have more like freedom. Like I just love it. You know, I love it. Love
From
it.
from your point of view, the audience had to be captivating through your eyes. They had to be in awe, right? Kind of like just vibing
Different. I
with your
mean, different times, different experiences with all. I mean, there's so many different kinds of people and different kinds of crowds. And like when I first got to Hollywood and I was playing shows, I was doing residencies and shows at like all the clubs in LA, like every one of them. Opium Den, the how the not the House of Blues actually, but the Whiskey, the Roxy, that blues club on Pico, like I don't know, just like all over the place. Sometimes 5, 6 nights a week. Cantor's Kibitz Room, but every show had different vibe because I was playing with my guitar at that point. It was me and my guitar. I mostly was just doing guitar and voice songs, uh, and then I was opening for all kinds of different bands, like all kinds of different music. So there was all kinds of different crowds there. I know like one of the coolest people that had come into my shows, they would come to all ages shows. Like at the Roxy. The Roxy was always all ages. And it was the school for the autistic in LA. And they would come like as a school event or whatever you call that, like a field trip. They would come to my shows.
It's
And
awesome.
they would stand there like yeah, and it was just so amazing because each one of them would have such a different thing going on while they were hearing me. You know, because yeah, like my show, what I do is not normal. It's not what anyone really was doing. Period. And so like I just remember specifically like especially this one guy because I can see energy and I can see things. And this guy, the one of the autistic kids or guys, had this big question mark on his forehead. And they'd be waving, like just waving while I was playing and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
So doing these shows, you said people show up, you opening for other bands and different musicians. This now opened the doors for collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
you like to speak on that?
Yeah, and like there's something really cool happening right now too that like I just want to like it's kind of like so my friend Lundy was just telling me that there's this thing happening right now in 2026 where it's like this mirror effect. It's like Groundhog Day from 1996. It's like everything that was happening then is happening now. Like I don't know. And I feel that. Like I feel that. Like so like I feel like all these doors are reopening and there's more and more doors that are going to be opening and they're all open. Like the doors are opening. Like the gates of heaven are fucking opening. Excuse me for swearing. Actually, I didn't know that this was rated R.
You see the parental advisory up there? There is
I
no.
didn't know that, and I do have like I think my nieces might be watching and stuff. So, but I do swear in my songs, and I mean I've got kicked off stages before for my
Sometimes
vocals.
the curse word is just feeling like
Yeah,
it's just fucking great. See, I just did it with you. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
There
No, fuck is my favorite word actually.
we go.
And
All
like
right.
I've never agreed with that with what is bad and what is good. Like I mean I do believe in evil and good or whatever, but when it comes to words, it's like that's a choice. Like
Just being yourself. That's
yeah,
all.
just be yourself.
And you're allowed to. And we're adults here with a rated R network. So as we go, let's hear about these collaborations, my friend.
Okay. Well, I guess okay, I want to do a little caveat that I do have a brain injury. I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor. Um, like double over because I had a first one in 1996 when I first got to LA. So I'm like trying to remember the timelines and everything, but I think that the collaboration started in Hawaii.
Okay.
Um, but did it happen in Santa Cruz and stuff? Like, no, not really. No, I really started opening up in Hawaii when I got to Waikiki. That's when it happened. And I was doing, I mean, the collaborations really started, I think, uh, with opening for people and people starting to see, you know, my voice, hear me. In Hawaii, I was working with, well, Fungus became, well, Jonathan Hero has this band or had the band. I can't remember now if it's still going on, but it's called the Quadraphonics. And they're like this instrumental, like power band, like crazy, like jazz, like fusion. I don't even know. And I would often like get up and like perform with them. Like just I think it was just freestyle that was, you know,
Okay.
just freestyle. I've collaborated with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Um uh and I'm probably not going to remember them all right now. I'm trying to think Hawaii that era, but flash forward like in LA, like I mean, a big one was HR, and so and how that happened. So I didn't necessarily want to collaborate with people actually in the beginning. Like I was asked to be in bands actually in Hawaii. Don Ho, I don't know if you know who that is, but Don Ho asked me to be in his band.
Wow.
Yeah, he did. And he actually was kind of begging me, like, please, please, I really could use someone like you know, and um, because, well, and there's this whole reason why I met him and why I started meeting all these rock and roll people. There's a couple different reasons, but I don't know, like I'm jumping all over the place, but
Just be you.
okay. Yeah, I'm a little scattered with this brain injury stuff, but oh, well, anyways, so like the reason why I didn't want to be someone's singer, you know, and like I'm not like a backup singer. The Marley brothers actually, when I first got to LA, asked me to be in their band too because I had dreadlocks. I had dreadlocks down to like my butt,
Yeah, I remember
and
seeing pictures.
yeah, yeah. So, but like I immediately said no. Like I don't know their songs. I don't want to know their songs. Like then I
Yeah, yeah.
was like really like I don't know. Like it sounds like maybe selfish or something, but I was on a mission. I knew I was on a mission for the music that was coming to me and through me, and that was my focus, you know. So when these people wanted me to sing with them, I just said no, no, no. And then at one point, I was doing a show at the Kibitz Room. I used to play there a lot. Um, and these guys came up to me after the show and called me over to their table or something. And the Kibitz Room is in Cantor's Deli, and it's like this little tiny bar. It's all ages.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But and they asked me if I would be in their band. They wanted me to play bass because of the way I played guitar.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, and again, like, I don't know that I want to be in your band. And well, it was HR's band, it was Human Rights. Our band ended up being called, we called ourselves the Jaw Love Band, like for that tour and stuff. But I did end, so what happened was with that is that I was immediately like, I don't think so. Like, and they're like, you could do it, you could play, it's easy. And then they were like, well, why don't you sing? Why don't you sing with us? And I was like, I don't know, you know, I'd have to hear the music. And I had no idea who HR was or human rights or anything. It was all new to me. So I knew it was reggae though. And so they gave me the cassette tape, and I went back to where I was staying at the time because I ended up getting kicked out of my apartment for other crazy reasons, like not my fault, but um my apartment in Hollywood Heights. So I was in Santa Monica at the time. And anyway, it's crazy because I was on the rooftop because I love going to rooftops. And I was on the roof and I was playing the headphones and listening to the tape. And I was like really getting into it. Like I was realizing that a lot of the music, it was like straight from like the scriptures, you know, it was like just raw, like beautiful, easy, like, and it was so non-traditional too, that like I knew that like I could do something with that, you know? And I really aligned with what HR was doing. And so, but while I was up there, I even got up and I was like dancing and I had my eyes closed and I was like kind of singing along. And then I sat back down and on the rooftop and I sat back down. And then all of a sudden I opened my eyes and there was like 10 cops all around me. Like, yeah, police officers. And some of them were in plain clothes. And one guy had a video camera. And they were like, ma'am, take off your headphones. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? They're like, well, we had a call that someone was about to jump off the roof. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm just listening to music. And they're like, well, we're gonna need to have you escort you down or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And like as we're going down the stairwell, they wanted to get me off the roof, I guess. One of the guys was like, yeah, you know, we thought you had suicidal tendencies. And I'd been talking to the suicidal tendency guys a lot, like in Santa Monica since I got there that time. And I'm like, no, it's not suicidal tendencies. I'm listening to human rights. And like they were just laughing so hard because it's like you should be able to have rights to like sing and dance on the roof.
Sure.
But yeah. But so I decided, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do this tour. So that's how that started. There was all kinds of like rolling, you know, experiences of how I met more people to like be collaborating. Um, I met John Perry Barlow. I don't know if you know who that is. Do you?
No, that
No.
one's not familiar to me.
Okay. Well, John Perry Barlow, he's amazing. He's an amazing human being and soul, and he's one of my best friends. He passed away. Um, I I don't even remember what year. It's all like it was like maybe 5 years ago or 8 years ago or something already, but we became like ancient friends immediately. Actually, when I met him at this party in Hollywood, and I brought my guitar because I was like always bringing my guitar everywhere, and I played a song. Like I always wanted to just play a song. Like I didn't want to just like I didn't have like a cassette or like a demo. I didn't believe in demos. I didn't want a demonstration. I wanted to like give it to them. They had to hear me play, you know?
Oh,
And so like at this party, I'm like, I find the opportunity and I get up and no one's performing, but I did. I mean, I of course got permission or I don't remember, but all these people, they were like all like high on acid and stuff too. And I played and I'm seeing this man like kind of like melting into the carpet in front of me. and and then afterwards, that was John Perry Barlow. And afterwards he told me that oh shoot, what's that painter? Salvador Dali. He said, "You are the Salvador Dali of music."
wow.
Yeah.
That's
Um, yeah. And so John Perry Barlow, he's done so many things, but one of his big things is that he wrote all of the music for the Grateful Dead that Bob Weir sang.
wow.
So yeah, yeah, he wrote a lot of incredible songs. He was a lyricist, but he also had a whole other like offshoot life, which got very involved in with him too. And this was in the mid 90s when I first got to LA. But he was very involved in the tech world. And he had even written the Declaration of Independence for the internet. He wrote that. He was the co founder of the Electronic Frontier Foundation. He did a lot and he was always touring and speaking. And I went to a lot of tech conferences. I started like taking photos too and like being a photographer later. But I mean, I started out as a photographer when I was 7,
Yeah.
but 7 years old. But yeah, so John Perry Barlow was like, you have to meet Bob Weir. You guys have to work together. Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead, the guitar player from the Grateful Dead. And so we went up there together at one point to the Bay Area, to Mill Valley, and right away, Bob was like, he wanted a press record. Well, like we immediately went to his studio at his house and we just started recording. We recorded a bunch of songs at his house like that night and more to come. And I was starting to do shows with him with his band Rat Dog. I was opening for the shows. Um, he he wanted and they wanted, I mean, Phil Lesh was down for it too. Even though publicly they were like, I guess, bickering at the time. And I was never a deadhead before this, but I totally like I appreciate being a deadhead or a dead family or
Yeah.
something. Like, you know, like I get it. But I didn't know much about them at all. I didn't know their music or anything. But so Phil Lesh and Bob Weir at this time, this was in 1999, I think. And they were like publicly, I think they were like fighting or not getting along, but privately, they were getting along. They were getting along fine, it seemed to me. And anyway, and everyone seemed down for it. The president of the Grateful Dead Records was down for it. For me to be the Grateful Dead's first solo artist to be published or whatever on the record label, you know. And before that, I did get a lot of several other record label opportunities before and after, but it never really worked out because of all certain crazy things. And then really what it came down to too, I think, is that my music was not commercial enough. And that's what the mother company of the Grateful Dead, Arista, um, told us that my music was not commercial enough and that they couldn't produce it or whatever. It kind of crazy because were the Grateful Dead commercial? I mean, I don't think they were, but
I mean, maybe later on, but
yeah,
no,
maybe later. But
for free spirit,
yeah.
you know,
uh,
that's kind of a tough call. However you see it.
yeah, I didn't care though. Like, I mean, not that I didn't care, but I just trusted completely. I trusted my fate. I have faith in my fate, and I mean, I literally was like, oh, okay, well, fuck their loss, Arista's loss or whatever. Like, fine, I'll do something else, like, I didn't need validation by getting a record deal. I was more into performing live. Like that was what I was all about, was performing live and receiving more songs, writing more songs. And even at that point, I was not really into actually collaborating very much with people. Um, but it started around that time that I started actually playing with people. Like I put together some bands around that time. The first band that I put together was called The Enchanted Forest.
Wow.
AJ Jackson, he was like an inline skater, really cool guy. And this other guy, Lem J, and me, and we all just like had this band thing for just a short while, and it was amazing. And then I had the other band that I put together. Well, Charlie Womack actually put that together. He was he was another one of my very best friends. And he was an incredible guitar player, just incredible. He was a big Grateful Dead fan. So like, and I knew Charlie kind of from Hawaii. Like I met his kids in Hawaii. They grew up there, and at the time where I met them, like they were moving to Ventura area,
Yeah.
Oxnard actually at the time, and then La Conchita. And anyway, I ended up there too. And yeah, and so Charlie, La Conchita, I lived in La Conchita, and Charlie and I did a lot of music together. I mean, just a lot. And he would do this amazing stuff. And it like there's all the recordings are buried under Rincon Mountain. I was gonna say under the fucking mountain. Like,
Well,
I
you
don't know
did.
why I'm like holding back my fucks.
You did.
You gotta give a fuck to get a fuck. So but but yeah, all the recordings, Charlie, even after that, like I had another band called Get Sick. And Charlie went to every single show, and sometimes he would play with us too, but he recorded every show. And he had like probably hundreds of shows recorded, all the Bob Weir shows. He would bring all of his recording equipment, and he performed with me at the Bob Weir shows a lot. And but La Conchita fell in 2005. I don't know if you heard about that, but that was a big deal. That fucking wrecked my life. But I mean, of course, I got myself back together. But when La Conchita fell, that was like this big, huge mudslide that came onto my community, my family, my neighbors, my friends, the animals that I loved, Dharma, Blue, but Charlie and Michelle and the girls, Michelle Wallet, and it was just like the mountain came down and buried them. And with that, the mountain buried all of the music that we'd recorded ever.
Wow.
So it's under there because I believe like it will be salvageable someday because it's on compact disc, and like, so that shit, like that'll hold up. I think it
Which is
will.
treasure.
It'll be archived someday, or maybe.
Absolute treasure, man.
Yeah, it's a treasure.
So it's crazy. We said that we were going to do a 45-minute show. That's not happening. We are 33 minutes in. This
Okay.
is how good things go.
Okay.
Moving,
Have-
moving.
Do we have people that they found us again?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have watchers.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, we have watchers. All
Absolutely.
right.
Thank you guys for being
Okay.
here. I'm putting you guys on screen
Thank
as
you.
we go. Like, share, follow, subscribe. And as I have on here, enjoy Rodleen Getsic tonight. This is an absolute pleasure hearing this woman's stories. So pushing on from a little bit from music, even though music is your passion, we're going to come back into it. Let's talk cinema. You had a passion to be an actress, and it has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Speak.
Yeah. So, well, in around right after La Conchita fell in 2005, I actually moved back to La Conchita after it fell, and that's where the horror film was started to be birthed, I think. That's when we started, Adam Raymeyer and I, we started creating uh, this energy around making a horror film. We had kind of talked about it before that. We met at like a show of mine, like, oh gosh, Mr. T's Bowl or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, like a long time ago, like when I had my 1976 Nova and or no, I had my Maverick or I can't remember. But anyway, so we like started formulating this idea of doing a film together, and it was all like completely organic. Nature was involved, like God, spirit, like the spirit of all things came through us, and we allowed that to happen. Like we called it, and we were creating this piece of art, and we didn't know what was going to really happen with it. And it took years of development. I mean, I guess it took about 3 years. I guess I feel like it took longer than that. So maybe we were meeting up before that. The Luck and Cheetah is just like a memory point. But we did a lot of photo shoots, to kind of like cultivate this energy around creating the film. We did most of our photo shoots at cemeteries. And at the time, Adam Carter Raymeyer was called the Good Reverend as well. So, and I remember like a lot of his stuff was up on some one of those old sites. I mean, maybe it's still around, but like the photos, that we were doing, and Flip Joint, or I can't remember the name of it, but but yeah, and so we were just cultivating this energy around it, and it literally like came together. It took a little bit of finding the right people to be like the co-stars and things like that. But it was all just like really like anti-cinema and anti-Hollywood and like rock and roll. Like
Yeah,
we made it like we make music, because Adam and I make music together too. We have collaborated on a lot of things like throughout the years, and that was part of our working towards this cinema thing too, towards the piece of art that we made together. But yeah, like the bunny game, that's what it's called. And it is not for the faint of heart. And like it's definitely not for children. It's definitely not for just an average even person. Like this piece of art is so intense and gnarly that it can be very disturbing. And people that know me, like a lot of people were completely shocked when they went and saw it.
absolutely.
But we created it in 13 days. You
Wow.
watched it? Did
I
you watch it?
rewatched it today. It was my
You
second time watching.
rewatched it today.
Yeah. So I've got to say that I have to back her up there. It is not for everybody. It is raunchy. It's disturbing. It's crazy. But here's the beautiful things on it. It has an old school horror feel. I do love the filming of the black and white. I do
Mhm.
love the way the direction was done with the filming of putting more the feeling into it, like the emotions through the camera, the eye of the camera. So I mean, you guys
Mhm.
hit a lot on the head here, and then the acting in general. I want you to dive deep into going into this character. Tell us how this character was created, and uh, kind of. I read a little bit. I had to research a little bit that you guys had to have safe words in order because you guys were actually going intense on each other, right? Is that
I,
true?
it was intense, yeah. And well, like you asked a few different things there, and my brain went.
Yeah, I know. I just want you to dive into the. Tell us how you
Okay,
picked the character and how you pulled it off.
yeah. Well, Adam and I, we like with him on the camera and me in front of it, like magic happens, like just period. Like, and we like when the film happened, when we went and we actually recorded the film onto film, we did it in 13 days, and we did it very methodically, and really just a lot of like improvisation. Like we had like kind of like an outline of what was going to happen. And so Sylvia Gray is her name, the name of the character, and she's a girl that came to Hollywood that wanted to be an actress, and then she just ended up going down a dark path and not becoming an actress like so many people do when they come to Hollywood. And her character was birthed at Hollywood Forever at the cemetery in Hollywood. And when Adam and I shot there, we shot photo shoots there because, like I said, we did a lot of photo shoots to prepare for this film. And while we were there at Hollywood Forever, that's when she came in. It was like it happened like organically, like in one of the mausoleums. Um, I don't even remember exactly how it happened, but it like was a thing that happened to both of us. But the other crazy thing that happened, and I don't want to like jump too far into that because that's a whole another thing. But when we got to Hollywood Forever, like it was very familiar to me, but I'd never been there before. And when we went into the mausoleums, we started going into the different mausoleums and stuff, and I realized I had been there before in a dream when I lived in Hawaii.
Wow.
And that actually is where I met Andy Dick for the first time in that dream.
No kidding.
So, yeah. Yeah. And that dream was like in 1995. And I met Andy in like 96, I think, like in Hollywood. But yeah, so that dream, yeah, it was crazy. But we really just tapped into like the souls that had passed on and that were there, like in the mausoleums and in the place. Like there was just like so much richness of like lives, that had lived in Hollywood, and to be buried. I found out more too along the way, like even after doing the bunny game, just what Hollywood Forever really means to someone that is like an entertainment person in Hollywood. Like if you're buried there, it's a very special thing. Apparently, it's special. So yeah, so that's where Sylvia Gray was really birthed, and then her character just from there it really started building. Like she built itself. She is a soul. She is like her own being. She exists. She's not me. And the film does say based on true experiences, and it is. One of the things too that like just overall uh not projection, but yeah, like projecting all over all of it, is that the whole thing was real. The whole film in its creation as we were doing it and filming it in those 13 days in 2008, it was real. It was all real, like what we were doing, all of the scenes, everything. It was like we were living it. But um I just realized like I wasn't going to do any more after 2012. That was my last podcast that I ever did before this one. And we weren't going to do any more podcasts about the bunny game. I just remembered that. But that's okay. Just because there's a reason why. But yeah, cuz we did a lot. We did a lot of podcasts back then, but none of them were live. Like they were all, and none of them were video either. So this is like a different, whole new era,
Well,
like this is
it's
live and video. And
going to give more views to the work that you all put into.
thank
So
you.
hopefully this
Yeah.
works for you. Hopefully this does you justice. That's what it's here for. So with that, I would like to you talked about the injury.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it's a negative part of your life, but at the same time, I could see how strong you are. So I want to hear about it, and I want to hear about not just the injury. I want to hear about your comeback.
Okay. Um, how do I summarize? Like, yeah, like first of all, in my life, like everything that's ever happened to me, I have faith in my fate. I have faith in my path and in my mission, in my work in the world. And so I've never doubted that. I've never worried about it. And when bad things have happened to me, and that's what I was going to say too, is that the bunny game, the it was based off of some of the bad experiences that I had before, in my life. Like I was abducted by someone before, a couple times actually. But anyway, so I've had some bad things happen. So I roll with it. But when this happened, this accident happened on March 8th, 2010.
That's my mother's birthday.
What? Whoa. That's crazy. It's also Marlena Giovie's birthday, which I don't know how she's doing, but I love her. But anyway, so yeah, March 8th, 2010, almost 16 years ago, I had a crazy, like random thing happen where I there was a favorite restaurant of mine and I went there like all the time. It was vegan, organic, kosher restaurant, like just it was the only restaurant I would eat at basically if I went out to eat. So but all of a sudden that morning when I went there, they had just opened and I was going for lunch and all of a sudden I like went into the bathroom and they had a mat. There was a mat on the floor, on the cement floor. It was like one of those plastic or rubber mats. I don't know, it was really thick. And when I stepped on it, it just completely flipped me completely upside down. And when I came to, I was literally like upside down on my neck and shoulder, and my legs and hips and everything were up the wall because it was a really small space. So it had knocked me completely upside down, like almost a 6-foot drop on my head on the cement floor. And literally, like my feet were still standing on the mat, like upside down, like like that. Like it was crazy. And then that injury just like at first I was just like, thinking, oh my gosh, like somebody's going to come and save me or whatever. Like I don't know what just happened. And but then like it just progressed, like because I kind of was just like brushed it off. I thought I was going to brush it off, and because I've always been like really tough. But it wasn't like a little while after that because they wanted to call an ambulance for me and all that, and I was like, oh no, I just don't want anyone else to fall. I was really worried because it was just so dangerous. Well, then all of a sudden, I'm like on my way. At the time, I was going to the Second City Training Center. I was a Second City Training improv student in the Hollywood Center, and I was on my way. That's improv comedy school, and I was on my way to class, and all of a sudden, like my vision started closing in, and I started seeing grim reapers, which that happened in 1996 when I had a car wreck and I at that time got a traumatic brain injury too. It was not as severe as this one, obviously, but that was a whole nother crazy story. But yeah, and so then I instantly like, and as this was happening, I was like driving to the Second City to my class. And so I was like right by I at the time I lived in West Hollywood, and I was like right there by Cedar Sinai hospital, whatever you call it. And I just drove right into the emergency room, and then from there on it just was this crazy long story that the injury just kept progressing and it kept getting worse and worse, and it was like a contusion, but then it like the injury just kept getting worse and worse, and it was the worst part of it was the pain, the physical pain, and the disability. But it was like at first it was just kind of shocking, and I thought I was going to get over it the whole time. I just kept thinking I'm going to get past this, and I was trying to keep going with my life from afar. But like eventually, like my friends had to drive me up to Washington to be with my family. And then I kept, going to the hospitals, and getting my head checked and getting more imaging. And there was more going on than just a traumatic brain injury, but nobody could figure out exactly what was going on. And the symptoms just kept getting worse and worse. Hi, Sir Jade. Hold on. Sir Jade came to say hi. This is Sir Jade.
What's
This is
up?
my Rod brother.
You can never turn down a visit from a cat.
I know, he's so sweet. I love
Everybody
him.
say hello to Sir Jade.
Say hi. So but yeah, like so it just got worse and worse and worse. And basically I saw like literally like between between then and now, I've seen like over 100 doctors, like literally, like I've seen so many different specialists. So for the first 4 years, and it got more and more painful and so much painful. I was completely bedridden. I would have these seizures where my whole entire body like couldn't move and my organs were shutting down. And the doctors and the imaging, we just couldn't figure out why all of that was happening. And I kept going to different doctors and different imaging. And I finally ended up because I'd been in Washington, I was going back and forth to California to doctors. And I had this neurologist in Santa Barbara, and he referred me to this radiologist at UCLA. And that doctor saved my life.
Wow.
He saved my life, and he was an amazing man. Dr. James Collins. He was in his 80s, and had these crazy machines. It was called the MRA, MRV, MRI or something. But like it wasn't just the machines, it was him, that how he read them and everything, that people would fly from all over the world to work with him. Like princes and things like were on waiting lists to see him. And finally I got to see him, and that was in 2014. And yeah, and at that point I didn't have my electric wheelchair. I couldn't even barely move. I could get around with a manual wheelchair, but I couldn't use it myself. Like I couldn't use my arms and legs because I would get like huge inflammation in my brain stem, and just unbelievable levels of pain. Like I thought I could handle, like I loved pain before this, but not injury pain. Like it was just unbelievable. So, and Dr. Collins like spent hours with me, like literally like 8 hours, like going over the imaging. He printed out these huge prints for me. He also told me a lot about his life. He was an amazing person. He started off as a boxer back in like whenever that would have been, the 30s or something, and just like amazing stories. And he passed away, but he passed away not before he didn't he before he passed away. I was able to see him again and get further imaging, and it was crazy because yeah, at that point I can't remember like what, but it was still happening. And what he discovered was happening was that in addition to the brain injury, I was having venous compression at my both of my jugulars. Or it's also called thoracic outlet syndrome, and it was upper thoracic. So my collarbones, because now they're coming back, like you can actually see them again. Yay. But like at that point in 2014, you couldn't even see my collarbones. They were like inside my body, and they were cutting off the blood supply to my brain.
Wow.
Like it was serious. Yeah. And so I again saw doctors, amazing doctors. Dr. Levine saved my life. He's a osteopathic neurologist, and he did these intensive, aggressive physical treatments on me. I worked with him for years. I mean, I worked with a lot of workers though, a lot, even before I was further diagnosed. I worked with amazing, like Master Roland Matthews, acupuncturist, um, Michael Maskornik, a Rolfer who refused to Rolf on me. He only did craniosacral because we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know why my body was, in so much pain and having like all of these symptoms, these weird symptoms. So I've seen a lot of doctors, and it's been a long road. Um, and even after Dr. Levine, because there was this time where like like there was like time where like I had a lot of like challenges that I had to face too with like financial things, and I had a lot of people come forward that helped me too along the way. And in fact, the whole horror community came forward and did like uh you know fundraisers for me, and all kinds of amazing people came forward and helped me. And I'm so grateful for that. And that helped me to be able to afford to go to the neurologist and things like that, because at that time, you couldn't even get insurance if you had a pre existing condition. So there was just a lot of challenges with it. But along the way, I just kept having faith, and I knew that I was having the pain for a reason. Like, I guess I once when I was young, really little, like I told Cosmos, I told God I wanted to experience everything.
Yeah.
And I think I have now.
Well, I'm sure there's more to come, but hopefully it's only positive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that would be nice.
you say it's
Yeah,
a
bigger and better. That's the
yeah,
thing about 2026 is it's 1996, but like
that's what
bigger and better. Like
I was just about to say it's the
super soul.
96 as things start to happen again for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far, this even with the technical difficulties in the beginning, this has been an absolute great show. It's an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and we're not gonna end right now. We've got a little bit left, and I want to talk about just not with your comeback, uh, the plans that you have coming. Like, what do you see?
Oh, it's so exciting because I mean, one of the biggest, most exciting things is that I had no idea I would be this healed. Like, I was literally like bedridden with an electric wheelchair with head support. Like I couldn't get around. I couldn't dance. I couldn't hardly walk. Like I was very disabled and bedridden for years and years. And the fact that I can just walk, I mean, I can like get up, like I can dance, I can do things now, like I'm back. And so, yeah, so like I know that I trust my fate and the destiny that's unfolding. And it's really exciting. I don't know all the things that are going to happen, but they're starting to happen already, like I just got a contract to license one of my songs for the first time ever, license a song for a Netflix documentary. Yep. And that song is called Fucker.
Parental
Yes.
advisory. We're allowed.
Yeah. And that's a song that I wrote back in the day with not with, but for Andy Dick. Because Andy Dick, I don't know if did we talk about Andy Dick, or was that just me and you that were
You just briefly
oh,
brought it
okay,
up. You don't have to right now. We could save that
yeah.
for another day, but you
Yeah.
can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, that song is for him. And anyway, so that song, I think like the contract says that it's going to be for the credits, but we did talk about more that might happen. And part of what's happening to me is that I've always received visions like my whole life since I was very little. So I have like, I mean, I have books and books and books. I've written like hundreds of books since I was 8 years old. And I've written down every vision. Well, in the beginning I didn't because I was told not to by spirit, but I did write down all my dreams, and they're not all visions, but you could tell the difference when there's a visionary dream. But I've been having visions a lot lately that I'm not even dreaming, like I'm awake, and there are some of the most crazy, vivid visions I've ever had. Like things are starting to pop on this world. Like I know that for sure. And it's not just about me at all. Like it's our world. We are entering into a new era. Like, and I am so super stoked to be a part of it, to be able to be a part of it now. Like, I wasn't even able to talk like this before because I was in pain, like this with my neck pillow, just like, oh, like, like just praying all the time, which is great to pray. But now, the world is opening and I don't know what's all going to happen. There's been some people that have been contacting me about doing some collaborations or possibly working with some bands. I'm going to be creating a band. I
Yeah.
know that for sure, and I have some of the players that, and some of that has come through the visions too. Like one player, like I didn't know that we were going to work together. I've never even met him in person, and he's like in Turkey right now.
There you go.
But yeah, but all of a sudden I saw him in the vision and he was playing guitar like he was playing a bass or something. And I heard the guitar line, the bass line or whatever. And like just so much is coming together right now. And there are so many players that I'm gonna be playing with. And I don't know what the band is gonna be called. The band that I had previously, for a short while, that was really like kind of what this is going to be, but like bigger, was called Get Sick.
Okay.
And Norwood Fisher from Fishbone is my main bass player. And then I had Spacey T on guitar, Freddie Flint. Spacey T was from Fishbone at the time. Freddie Flint was from Eka Mouse and Human Rights. We toured together with HR. Unfortunately, Freddie Flint passed away, but he was playing guitar and sometimes keyboards. And then I had James Gray on drums, and I don't know what happened to James Gray, but he was well, he was with Michael Franti's band. And then there was Kabaddi on keys. I mean, and then I had a lot of players. I mean, even Dave Aaron was in my band.
Yeah.
He would get up and play his
Was it sax or something? Or yeah.
no, the
The
clarinet, the
clarinet.
clarinet. He would play the clarinet. Yeah. And like, so I had this core band then, but then like I had all these players that would get up and play. Um, and there is actually one recording of the show that I know of that I haven't seen yet, but it's an actual video. So that'll be neat. And at that time, also Norton Wisdom was in my band as well. And Norton Wisdom is an amazing artist who paints while the music is going. Like he is a musician that paints. That's his instrument.
See how this whole discussion went full circle from how you started to the collaborations that you get to experience
Right.
and enjoy
Mhm.
the world. I
Yeah.
could accompany you on something that I could feel that things are reflecting, coming together, things are happening,
Mhm.
and it's about
Mhm.
taking charge of it. And it's about just going with the flow. And I can feel the vibe, and I can
Yeah.
understand where you're coming from. So
Yeah.
artist to artist, I really appreciate that
Yeah.
and what you do. I want to dive into something as well too before we end it, because we're going to
Mhm.
end it with something special, which we're going to end it with my favorite song that you have created. But one thing that my friends and I growing up, I want to speak of the Deftones. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So
Okay.
it's one of these things where with that song, we had a debate. How did Chino pull that voice off? But it was you. It was you.
It's funny. That's cute. Yeah.
And
Like, how did
years
you know
later,
that?
it was you. And I'm like, brother, this
Was
is
that
my
crazy?
favorite song, Knife Party.
Because did you know me, like, or you got to know me and then you were like, wait, what? Like,
We were young, and then like afterwards, I said to my brother, I said, there's old friends are all coming in. Ted, what's going on, brother? Old friends all coming in. But when I said, hey,
cool.
that's my friend
Interesting.
Arlene. And he goes, get the hell out of here. Sure enough. Can you
That's crazy.
can you tell us a little story about that one?
Well, and it's funny because Dave Aaron actually plays a big role in how I met him. So Dave Aaron, for people that don't know, he passed away as well, like a lot of the good souls have, but they're still with us in eternity in spirit. But Dave Aaron is he was Snoop Dogg's like right hand man. He was Snoop Dogg's producer with Death Row from the beginning. You know, he was just an incredible producer of music and engineer, sound engineer for the live shows and everything. Like Snoop wouldn't go anywhere without him. You
I'd
know,
spent time in the sound booth when they were in town. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, and
he met up with my uncle Rod in Kosovo when Snoop was on tour was in Kosovo. Dave Aaron met my uncle Rod, my Rod father, for drinks when because he was out there too. But
I want to throw this in there. I was grateful to meet Dave through our mutual friend. He's known as Mimi, so he's an old brother of mine and family.
oh,
So, I mean,
I love Mimi. I miss him so much.
all
I miss
respect.
his home cooking and oh,
That's one good dude. But yeah,
I
anyway,
miss Dave too.
well, it's all collabed back together now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I understand.
So what happened, like how that even came to be though too, is that it was just this crazy like convergence. So I knew I was supposed to meet Dave Aaron and it was supposed to happen like even years before that. And I'd like written a song that I was supposed to like, I know I was supposed to like with him, which we did, but that was like years before because like it didn't happen. Like the people were like, oh, you need to meet Dave Aaron. Then it didn't happen. But then all of a sudden it was happening again. And it was through Bob Weir because Bob Weir's bassist at the time in Rat Dog and some from his other band too, Rob Wasserman, was doing a solo record and he was recording it with Dave Aaron. And so that was happening at the studio, which I think is not there anymore. It's called Larrabee Studios in Hollywood. And so I went down there to meet, you know, Dave Aaron and then like I was up in like the green room area, like the pool, like playing pool or something. And like somebody like said, oh, Rodleen, play that cassette or whatever. And I had just done a show up with all the members of the Grateful Dead remaining except for Phil Lesh. He did his own show on the new year of the millennium for the year 2000. So that show, I'd opened that show up at the I can't remember the name of the big place in San Francisco, but anyway, and there was a recording of it. There was a cassette recording of the show. So I played that show like over the thing, and I guess Chino heard it. And Chino was also like their band was recording in the same studios at the same time, but we were up in the green room area or whatever. And then so Chino comes up to me, he's like, hey, like I'm just wondering if you might want to sing on one of my songs because I just heard your voice and I think it would be great. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if if it'll work. Like, I don't know if it depends on the song. Like, what's your band called? And he said the Deftones. And I totally thought that it was like ska. Like I thought it was gonna be ska music because of the way it sounds, like the Deftones. Like, doesn't it sound like a ska band? So I was really shocked when he brought me into the studio and he started playing the song. And right when I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, turn it off. Like, let's do it. Let's go in the vocal booth. I can do this. Like, I knew it right away. Like, if it hit my soul, I told him, then I can do it. And so that, yeah, like it just happened. And in fact, when I was in the vocal booth, had never happened before. I knew that magic happened in the studio, but all of a sudden this blue sphere like of God energy, which I've seen before, like I've had that blue sphere appear and like open in visions and things, but this blue sphere opened right up in front of me where my voice was happening and it was like it was not from me. The voice that happened was straight from the heavens, like from the spirit of music. And that's how it happened.
I believe it. Hearing that, and it's chilling. Those vocals on that track is
Knife Party.
It's Knife Party.
Knife Party. Just for people that don't know about it, like
just hearing it, because it's always on my playlist, and it gives me chills every time. Now,
wow.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this because we have this other show called Dom and Tom's World. We interviewed the Evil Dead with Betsy Baker and some cast. So she did that laugh that she did. Before you do the song, can I put you on the spot? Can you hit a little note from Knife Party?
Hit a little note from Knife Party. Wow. Well, I don't usually just like belt out things or, usually like I sing all the time. But it's like with the spirit of music. So let me see if something comes like
I'd appreciate
I
it.
don't know. It's hard. It's hard to just like all of a sudden jump into it. I don't know. I would have to like be like riffing off of like some song that comes to me like I don't know.
So wait, maybe
I could maybe do it when I do Majika.
exactly what I was about to say. You felt it.
Yeah.
So with that, talk about Majika. Tell us about the song.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say my goodbyes to everybody. After you say it, you're going to pick up your guitar and you're going to be full screen and we'll end the show.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's been so awesome to be with you today. Thank you. And also it's like really cool that it said episode number 1. I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I mean, I know you've done a lot of podcasts before and stuff, but this is like a new era, right? It's a new era.
This is a new show.
So Majika, Majika came in Hawaii. Majika was a dog. Majika was a beautiful, special doggy. I was just thinking about Sir Jade. I don't know where he went, but anyway, Majika was a special dog and he could surf. We discovered that he could surf because we would throw coconuts out into the ocean and then he would get them and like ride the waves back naturally. So some of the guys started putting him up on the board and he would ride it. He just naturally, he was a natural surfer and he got on like the front page of like the Honolulu Times or whatever, and he was becoming a celebrity. But I just decided to write a song for him, like in his honor. And that's really the inspiration for it. But like all songs, they have deeper meanings that often come out like later or even like as it happens. Like there's so many different reasons. And one of the crazy things, okay, so one of my alternative names, like that a lot of my friends call me is in Hawaii, I was called Radharani. And a lot of my friends still call me Radharani or Radha. And so I'm very connected with Vedic culture and the ancient Sanskrit scriptures and all of that. So like Haribol. Haribol means praise God. I praise God in all languages. Well, Yaki Bud Yaki Nabu too, but anyway, so but Majika, this is crazy. So when I recorded it, I recorded it a bunch of times or whatever on cassette, and then I put together a record album, which I never released, but I still put it together in 1996. And I made this record. It's called Anarchy Awakening. And it's called Anarchy Awakening, but Majika's on there. And then I decided to like at the end of the record or something, or maybe at that track, I did it backwards. I played it backwards on the reel, on the cassette, the 4-track or whatever it was. And it was so tripping me out because Majika backwards is Krishna.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Never even recognized.
Well, it says, and if you hear it, you can see that. I think that record, if you go to anarchyawakening.com, I think that the archive.org, I think it goes to the actual record, anarchyawakening.com. But anyway, the Majika, it goes, Hare Krishna, me, I'm falling. Like something like that, like backwards. It's like really crazy. Yeah. Like calling out, like, because Krishna, I know, like whatever, like people are like, oh, Jesus Christ and all this stuff. And it's like Christ's message is simple: love one another. And that's it. We just need to love one another. We all have a different language, just love. Just love. It's that simple.
And with those words. I absolutely appreciate you even more. So, before I say my goodbyes, let me say this. Are you ready?
I mean, I was wondering because I haven't performed it in so long, and like I haven't played Majika in years. I'm sure I'll do fine, but I was wondering if I needed to like warm up my voice or like I
You
used
tell.
to do stretching like
So let me ask you this real quick. I'm going to give you a couple options real quick because I'm going to do full screen like this
okay.
for you to be
Oh.
present. But
I didn't put I just got out of the bath. I didn't put any makeup on or anything.
do that real quick. Let me see
Okay,
how
where's my stand? Oh,
like that.
um,
I actually want you full screen because you are the
okay.
show tonight.
Okay.
So, yeah. I was going to do it as if like I could be kind of an audience and chill with you, but no, I think it's important that you are front and center.
This is Prophet Daniel. He's on my stand. So I'm going to put the phone on the stand now.
So what I'm going to say for everybody is welcome to episode 1, Earth to Dawn on BB3 TV. We did Real Talk with Dom in the past. And like you said, a reflection of the past is here and to now go new. So
that's so crazy.
Yep.
So
BB3
crazy.
be here. It is the network, and new shows will always have opportunities. And I appreciate everyone who has put their part into BB3 in the past. With that being said, like, share, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, enjoy. And without further ado, Rodleen, thank you for being my guest here tonight.
Thank you so much, Dom. Earth to Dom.
You are my family. You have been for years, and I'll be here for the future as well.
We'll be doing a lot more work together, I'm sure.
I'm going to pull myself out.
Okay.
Everybody, enjoy Majika.
And I do want to say this is my Rodfather's guitar, and it reminds me so much of Blondie, Bob Weir's guitar, named Blondie. I don't know what Rodfather named this guitar, but all right, here we go, Majika. I hope it's in tune. Oh, my love, Majika, you are so majestic. Like the sun up in the sky, you shine from where you sit. Magic, magic. I love my Majika. Magic, magic. I love my Majika. Oh, my love. How can I No, Magica, queen mom of all dogs, solar surfer, celestial. She's careful where she trods. Magic, magic. I love my Magica. Oh, Magica. I love Magica. Magica. I love my Magica. 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 Oh, my love, Magica. You are the most cool, natural, mystic, ancient. Oh, lifetime is your school. Oh, my Magica, 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 Magica.